Listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
He stretches out even longer and longer. What episode number is this, Taylor?
Episode 304.
And he said it never could be done. He said he'll never get past 295.
We made it.
Yeah, no, it's getting close to our 30-year anniversary, September of 19. So, but anyway, we know Shandy. She's been here before 3 or 4 times. So you talk about every show. Mentions real estate, but this handsome young lad to my right here is her number one son, Griffin, who just graduated school. And he came in and said, "Why not? Let's throw some headphones on him and talk to him too." Maybe we'll talk.
He's way more interesting than me.
Oh yeah, but you like this technical stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you gotta expand on that answer.
Oh.
No, it's all right.
Sorry.
No problem. No, we just thought, why not? He's going to sit and watch. Why not sit and watch and be part of the show? Why not? This is a family show most of the time when I can keep my language appropriate. Well, I'm not always talking about Mr. Biden, so there you go. But anyway, we're going to talk about real estate, what's going on, particularly with the rates. They have really changed a bunch in the last, 6 weeks or so?
Probably 3 weeks, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3. Yeah, that's what I thought. And they're going to change again very soon. What I'm reading in the papers.
Yes,
I'm reading that that we're probably going to have another rise in the rates, and that's
so they're going to do, I think, 6 this year.
Good heavens! What? And a year ago it was 2, right, or 3? I don't know. What
but
was
we
it?
were basically at 0. The Fed was the base rate was at 0. You can't function in that. No government can function at 0.
Well, apparently we did for a long, long time, and now it's. See, we were talking about before the show about 30 years ago, the rates were like 10%, 9% when I bought.
Yeah, have all those numbers.
When I bought my house in 1991, we built our house. We were financed at 9.3 or something like that. And then when it dropped to 7.8, we said we better jump on this because it may go back up. And now and we've refinanced 2 or 3 times, which is an interesting way of financing college or whatever else. But it's
a great tool.
Yeah. Well, see, I want to ask you about that too when we get after a certain point in the show. I want to ask you about that because there's a lot of debate. Should you take cash out or should you try to pay it off and that kind of thing? But anyway, before we jump in, let's talk about the sponsors. And of course, we have Daniel Baisden over at CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. He's doing great. He's busy. He bought a piece of property right across from Baisden Steel, and they're going to put a storage facility for cold storage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We've been talking about what they were going to do with that piece of property. It's by Bransom, right? Kind of.
No, it's actually by the creek over by the apartments. It's a.
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a piece Well, I know. See, you've not from this area, you won't know. It's across the street from
Cooter Browns?
Cooter Browns, yeah, and the Texas Tool and all that. It's on Renfro, and it was just a lot, and they're putting for cold storage for data.
Oh, nice.
That kind of stuff.
I was thinking freezers.
Yeah, right. No, it's not going to be freezers. No, it's going to, but you have to store data in a certain temperature.
Right.
And so there you are. Well, you're the technical guy. You know these things. Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Daniel's very smart too.
Yeah, he is. He's a very smart businessman.
Yes.
Well, he advertises on here. That's obvious.
Right.
All right. And then, of course, yourself. Well, tell us about your enterprise here.
I'm a real estate agent. I have 2 other teammates at this point, and I've been being a real estate agent for 7 years. I've been in some sort of real estate for the last 25 years, and so I don't know. I just decided to jump into this. I really like it, though.
Was this particular period, is this the most confusing, difficult time, or have we've gone through this before in your experience?
I really think... So I was not an agent right before the 2008 crash, but Ron, my husband, was, and that was really scary being in the market at that time and seeing kind of the loans that were being done. You could see what was about to happen. So this isn't quite like that. It's just more work. We're working really, really, really hard to try to get people into houses.
Yeah, I'm going to, after the ad run here, I'm going to ask you about, you've been posting about offering well above the asking price and coming in second, I suppose, and that's unusual, I would think.
Yeah, it's just like everything else that's happening. It's a supply demand issue.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. Also, Rex Russell, I had him on last week talking about the economy. I have concerns about the economy. Thursday's show, probably a Zoom show, I'm going to talk about what I've been reading about a recession coming. And I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not going to pretend I'm one. If you really want to know what to do about that in the upcoming recession, talk to Rex. He's a professional at this, but I have my concerns. But anyway, Rex Russell can help you through this.
Rex would tell you diversify.
Right. And that's, and he's been doing it a long, long time. So he's been through this, through the crash of 87 and the 2008 debacle and other financial catastrophes. Or after 9/11 in 2001, the market dropped like a stone. So he's been through it, and it can help you navigate through it. So hit myfinancialbox.com, hit the link. What are you pointing at?
I was showing him what was on the actual screen.
Oh, yeah.
It's the top left one.
Oh, okay.
You like this kind of technical stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. I just...
We got to talk in the mic.
Oh, sorry.
If you talk away from the mic, you'll echo.
Oh.
He probably just wanted to make sure he wasn't on camera.
No, he'll be on camera some. No.
Oh, I just... It's like looking at a mirror. You kind of just keep looking over.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. But it was a new experience for me when I started doing this. I was very naive, but now I'm an old pro.
But call Rex. I'm sorry, Rex, I interrupted.
Yeah. Okay. Also, Southern Gym over at the top of the Windmill Building. I don't know if you had a chance to go over there sometime, but you ought to. It's really good stuff.
I haven't, but somebody I know just had, they just got a new ring from them. I think it was Angie Stanton. If you're listening, her ring was gorgeous, and it was from Southern Gym.
Yeah, well, she has great inventory. And my wife's going to be working for her this summer.
Oh, nice.
And
I'll definitely have to go in.
Yeah, and if and when my wife leaves the district, she's getting close to retirement, and she's going to start working for Gala.
Awesome.
I don't know how many hours a week, but it'll be enough for me, and then it'll be fine. But she's a real sweet woman, and she's got not just inventory, but she also can do appraisal. She can do repairs. She can do design. She get the whole thing, and she's trying to expand the store, but she's having the same construction type issues that you probably hear about all the time.
Yes.
And so she's going to stay at the Windmiller building.
Oh, nice.
She just, she's not moving location. She's just expanding, and because she needs more room. But she likes that location, and I do too, because it's really centrally located. Also, Hot Works on 731 and John Jones. It's over by the theater, by Kroger's, across the street from, I noticed they're building a lot of health clinics over there.
Yes.
But it's not related to Michelle, it has nothing to do with Hot Works. I mean, I went over there about a week ago to pick up something, and
did you try it out?
No, I wasn't dressed appropriately.
I really feel like there should be a video of you doing Hot Works. Who's going to get on that with me?
I would agree.
Yes.
I don't know if Michelle needs to be hearing this, but anyway, she's got all these different programs. People, I don't know what they think. When I tell them it's infrared, they think of a sauna. It's nothing like that at all. It's all these different workout regimens that you can do to infrared. And it's supposed to, keep you from getting overexerted and all this other stuff and help you lose weight and all this. It's a pretty interesting thing.
I did it once, and I thought I lost a ton of weight.
Well, you lose, yeah.
But I think it was water weight.
Well, yeah, and that's what it's designed to do. But it's really expanded, and I like to think it's because she advertises here, but I think it also has a lot to do with her and her product. She's very much a go-getter. But speaking of go-getters, when you talk about yourself, okay, about a month ago you were posting about how, and you're posting your frustration, I think, how you were offering well above the asking price and not getting accepted because somebody else beat your bid.
And in areas that you would never believe that would happen.
You mean like less than high dollar incomes or neighborhoods?
Yes.
Oh, and that is frustrating. And because in the middle class neighborhoods, that's what we need a lot of, because trying to find a home is just very difficult in an appropriate price range.
Right. I
mean, you could find homes if you want to spend $800,000. I guess you can find a home without a lot of trouble. But if you want to spend like $250,000, it could be a real.
I don't know if $250,000 is even doable anymore.
Right.
That's what's a little bit I mean, I think it is. It's just harder. It's getting harder and harder and harder.
Mm-hmm.
And the average price, that's what I wanted to tell everybody. Like the average price keeps pushing up. So I did want to do, just so you can understand the predicament we're in, is that I did a 10-year comparison. And let's just do Burleson. 10 years ago, the average sales price was $129.9. In 2022, the average sales price is $320.
Wait, okay, try the 10 years ago is what?
$129.9.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. I thought, and then now it's over 300.
It's $320
in 10 years.
in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that movement has happened probably in the last actually 3 years. Because last year alone, Burleson was up 18.5%, which if I try to, clarify this with clients, like before 2012, even during 2008, when the rest of the country was kind of falling apart.
Like Phoenix and Las Vegas and Georgia.
Florida and California and New York, you know, all the big markets were kind of falling apart. DFW is still moving at 3%. And our average for about 25 years was 3 to 6%. You could count on 3 to 6%.
Right.
And then starting about 2015, we started moving a little bit higher than 6%. And then in 2017, we were at like 8%. And we were like, what is happening? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then about 2018, I think it was like 12%, which was even crazier. We're earning 12% on our houses every year. And now we're at 18.5, but DFW in itself is at 24%.
Good grief.
So, and that's just little pockets here and there. You know, that's the whole conglomerate together is at 24%.
That's still amazing.
So, if you talk to someone like Rex, who you're going to say, okay, where can I invest my money and earn 24%? That is called high risk. And real estate is not considered high risk. You know, it's
Long game.
It's the long game.
Good. There's
Griffin. There he goes. So, you know, these numbers are a little bit crazy, but it all has to do with just like everything else you're feeling. The inflation is everywhere. We have supply demand issues everywhere. So COVID created, personally, I felt like in 2019, we were getting back to a more healthy market. We had started really negotiating again. It wasn't particularly a buyer's market, but it was a healthy seller and buyer market where you give, I receive. Everybody kind of was feeling like, okay, I can come out of this and everybody's happy. And then our interest rates had started going up a little bit. I think we were at 4.5. And then, you know, I believe it was January of 2020. We're about at 4.5.
Right.
And then March of 2020 happened. And the interesting part is that real estate didn't stop moving. Like, we really didn't stop. People did not stop buying and selling houses. Now, it became a little more difficult because some people lost their jobs and then they couldn't get loans. But there were plenty of people who still had jobs. You know, I feel like our economy really did pivot really well as far as the job market is concerned. But that has a lot to do with because now we have all of this technology and we can all work from home and so that was great. But then all these people realized, I don't really like my house. I'm here all the time. I need an office. I need my kids to have a playroom so I don't have to hear them in my office, you know? So it created this whole different lifestyle that we were not accustomed to. And now everybody wants a new house.
Yes. You know, Robin and I will, you know, daydream about, it'd be nice to have this and that, but really we're thinking more about redoing our house more than moving. And that's also been problematic because of the supplies issues and whatever, and the labor expense has gone up dramatically. But, you know, but we go back to the supply, they're not building enough homes, are they?
No.
And a lot of it has to do with all these issues we talked about before with the supply, with we don't have enough carpenters and plumbers and whatever else. You know.
Yeah, there's a whole gamut of things. We were running out of trades long before COVID. Trades were becoming obsolete to some degree, and you could feel that happening. And then COVID just was like, oh, now it's really bad because not only do we not have supply, we also do not have workers
Right.
to make that happen.
In the networking group I'm in, there's a roofer in the group. He has a roofing seat, so to speak. And we talked about this more than once. He's a Burleson graduate, Justin McGuire, and he's saying we can't get the supplies because a lot of roofing materials is made from petroleum-based products, and we can't get the workers. And it's basically when they're telling people that when can they get to their house, it's like 6 months out. In some cases, I mean they're busy now, but it's difficult.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a new roof tomorrow, you may be disappointed.
Right.
You don't have to stand in line.
Yeah, and as Americans, we don't like that.
No, we don't.
We like everything now, yesterday. I mean, if I ordered it today, I should have had it yesterday.
Well,
that's kind of how
Amazon's
we work.
impact on our psyche, I guess, about buying and selling.
Yes.
We just used to immediate, but as far as the building, I know I'm sure you're well aware of the building that's going on in Burleson, like that piece of property out on East Renfro. And I just kind of wonder, they have a time frame. I don't see how they're going to make it.
A lot of builders aren't so used to, they would pre-sell. I'm not sure on that one. I haven't really looked at it, but a lot of them used to pre-sell. They would sell the lot and then they would give you kind of a timeline as to this is when we're going to break ground. These are the steps. It's going to take us it used to take about 6 months.
Well, they're
from start to finish.
They're moving dirt out there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any streets being laid
yet. If the roads aren't in, they're not to that point yet. But now what they're doing is they'll probably build a model. But then they're probably not going to be selling dirt. They're going to be selling it once. They're going to basically pick what goes where. And then they'll start selling it once it's framed.
When we built our house in the spring of 91, it was done in 30, 40 days. I don't see that happening much more.
Well, it's taking about a year now.
Yeah, because of the supply issues. And so that's a real problem. And then the rental market, my goodness, it's gone crazy. But anyway, back to Burleson.
Yes. In
that Burleson area, has there been any cooling off on this? Because I get those Zillow things. I hate to use the Z word in front of you, but
I know.
Yeah, no, I get those Zillow things. I know what they're doing. They're trying to get me to sell my house to them. That's fine. But the estimated value of my house has gone up.
So
about 25% easily in the last year.
Yes. And in the past, even just in the past month, let's talk about Tarrant County. I don't know why. I didn't write Burleson down. We could talk about Tarrant and Johnson County. But the average price just in 1 month in Johnson County rose $5,000. 1 month.
1 month, yeah.
And then the average price in Tarrant County rose 15.6. So $15,600 in 1 month. So what that tells us, you can gather that that's the supply demand, right? This is the over asking situation, where when you went in March, your average price was $350, but because you've got all these buyers bidding and bidding and bidding, now that price has risen. And quite honestly, when we used to do listing appointments, we would pull comps, maybe a month out, and then we might look at it again, but usually we're like, it's probably going to be pretty close. We'll take a look just in case.
Right.
We're literally pulling comps every week, sometimes every day. Because what closed yesterday, that changes this whole thing. So what you're going to see in May and in June is that our supply will go up. That's very normal. The problem is it's not jumping up like it should in summer. Usually when the summer months come, the supply jumps up because all the kids are out of school. Now let's put our house on the market. So the supply from March to April in Johnson County went from 1.1 month to 1.4 months. That's not a big jump.
Okay.
Because April is usually when it's like, here we go. Spring break is over.
Right.
We'll be able to close right when school gets out. Now we can put our house on the market. I'll be interested to see what May looks like. And then in Burleson, it went from 0.8 to 0.9. So that's not a big difference in houses on the market.
Well,
And that's where the issue lies.
right. And we talked about this on your previous appearances, that Burleson's just poised to be this kind of market because of its proximity to Fort Worth and the availability of land still in Johnson County and lower tax rates, things of that nature. So you don't see this, this continued growth diminishing anytime soon, do you?
No.
Yeah. I've had the mayor on and I had a couple other people on, and they talked about how their projections are showing that this is going to keep going for quite some time.
Yes.
And it's a concern. I guess if you're a citizen here in this town and you own your own home, it's on one hand it's good, but it also you get the tax issues, and there's only so much that could be done about that.
So on the tax issues, let's have a little conversation about that because I get a lot of questions about this time, and what I need people to understand is that your tax estimate is very confusing to read. Do not freak out when it says this is what your house is worth. This is your appraised value. On the open market, this is your appraised value. That means nothing to you. Maybe you need to call a realtor if you want to sell, if you like that number, just to double check it, because they're still usually a little bit off at the tax office. But what you're concerned about is your taxable value. I know on the Johnson County one, there is a box around it, and it says your taxable value. If you are homesteaded, that cannot go up more than 10%. Now, that doesn't mean that your taxes go up 10% every year. Your taxable value cannot rise more than 10% per year. Now, I know that's a lot. It's still a lot, but if you're seeing anything like 11%, 12%, do the math just in case somebody messed it up.
Right.
Go ahead and do the math, even though they tell you it's in that 10% mark. And if it is, you can protest.
I'm sure the Scott Porter's office is getting inundated with appraisal appeals.
Of course they are.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been hearing that from several people.
Yeah.
That the auditor, the tax collector in this county is just, he's getting swamped.
So we also this is my fault because I should have known. I think we already voted. And just to increase the exemption for homestead. We have a $25,000 exemption for homestead. It can't raise more than 10% in value, and then you get $25,000 off, basically. We were supposed to be doubling that. The problem is that wasn't advertised a lot, and very few people vote if it's not for the president.
Right.
So everybody, you really need to be watching when these bills come out and they're like, okay, this is a homestead thing. What is happening? You need to go vote.
Yeah, the mayor mentioned that, and it didn't get much votes. This is in the bond vote. No, it wasn't.
No, that's the Burleson bond.
No.
That's completely different.
Yeah, right. I don't want to imply they're connected, but there was another election going on at the same time.
Yes, and that did have to do with the homestead.
Right, and he was stressing you need to vote in both, both for the bond and for the exemption. But what was confusing was those votes are held in two separate locations.
Yes,
and that didn't help.
Well, they don't make it easy, do they?
No, they don't. And it was, so he was trying to get that out. And I really don't know what the result was because it was so low key in these type of elections. I mean, the bond turnout was very low, so I'd assume this other one's even lower.
Right.
Because I didn't even know about much of it until a couple of weeks before the show I had with him. But anyway, that's where it goes.
So just on your tax, make sure you're looking at taxable value. That's what you want to be looking at. And I feel like every year they make it more confusing and more, what is this? And what number is that? There's like 3 different numbers on this year's. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. We just see the taxable value because that's what you're being taxed on. Everything else is just extra information to confuse you.
Well, I got my notice about a month ago, and I had to look over pretty carefully to find the numbers and the information I needed. It wasn't like a big, bold number saying, here's how much we're going to be appraising you for.
Right.
You had to look for it pretty hard. And then also, if you have any oil and gas stuff, you got the long list of stuff. And it can be bewildering to a lot of people.
Yes.
But that's why they have experts like you. Okay. Well, I'm going to run through the second round of ads, and we're going to finish up with the real estate. I want to talk about this gentleman to my right because I understand he had a big week last week.
He did.
Oh,
Yeah, you. We're talking about you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, so let's go here. Our place. Everybody knows our place. I was there twice last week.
I love eating there.
You do? You've been there before, have you? I know you have. Everybody's been there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like to get there?
Chicken fried steak.
Yeah, that's what I get for lunch. I like the breakfast
Everybody
foods.
always mentions the chicken fried steak. I love that.
Well, you
Must
know,
be really good.
It is good, and because he doesn't get like just stringy old cow meat, he gets that Wagyu beef or whatever for his chicken fried steak.
Really?
Yeah, the good stuff.
Oh, now he's going to want to eat there when we leave here.
Yeah,
No. That's a treat breakfast.
Yeah.
At least I'm trying to make it a treat. Breakfast.
There you go. Well, I'm going to be there Thursday. Every other week, the men of my Sunday school class get together early in the morning, real early, to have breakfast. They open at 6, and so they, and even at 6, by the time about 7 o'clock hits, it's fairly full, and but that's also with my networking group. That's where I do all my business. It's almost like my second office. But you get the pies there too?
I can't have the pies.
Oh.
I have a corn. It's more of an intolerance, but I always have to be careful on what people put in stuff.
Yeah, is gluten kind of thing.
Yeah.
Corn syrup.
Corn syrup.
Well, mine is
primarily.
diabetes. I can't have all the sugar.
Yeah.
But
Same thing.
But sometimes it is. But sometimes it's okay. I'll shoot up a little extra insulin so I can have some pie, and I pay for it later. But anyway, it's a great place, and he's a very generous sponsor. He's
generous all the way around.
I think he's part of your swag bag for Re-Inspire.
Yes.
We'll talk about that at the end of the show too. Also, thank you to Wild Cigar and Culture. He's doing pretty well. I know that the playoffs he has on the TV, but it's not really a sports bar. But he'll have
It's
it on.
very cool, though.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get there and have a smoke, have a decent cigar. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is, if you're not like real experienced, I'm not a real experienced cigar smoker, but I could walk in there and have tobacconists. And some kids saying it's over there. No, they have guys that are trained in telling you, well, what do you like? What do you want?
Yeah.
What kind of taste are you looking for in your cigars? And
They also, if you are a cigar aficionado, they have a huge humidifier to store your cigars in.
Right. A cigar smoker in your family?
I find all of that fascinating.
It is.
Just like the humidity and stuff.
Well,
Apparently.
I think it's interesting to me too, because I didn't know all the science behind it. I've had Chris on about 3 times to for special promotions, whatever, and I talk about running a business in this environment, and he's got it's very interesting. I mean, it's like he compared a good cigar to like a good wine. It's it's not just
There's lots of flavors happening.
A lot of changes, a lot of different kind of experiences you can have and all that kind of thing. So drop over by the Standard, over by Doughboy Donuts and American Revelry and all that business over there. So everybody knows what that is. Also, thank you to Antonio Basalo. Now, if you're talking about, by the way, before I jump on his proactive payment solutions, he's also a certified electrician, so you can put that in your roster.
Nice.
If you need to. Antonio.
I'm always looking for an electrician.
Right.
Always.
It's hard to find a good one.
Yes.
I can vouch for him not just as an electrician, but as a young man. He had a very interesting story. We talked about maybe a month and a half ago about his immigration experience, and he's created a couple of businesses, and he's pursuing the American dream as we want to define it as. Proactive payment solutions help you with point of sales operations with your payment processes and invoicing, the whole 9 yards. So give him a holler. Check out proactivepaymentsolution.com and get a hold of Antonio, and he'll help you out. It's a good deal. Also, you all know Tiffany Griffin, Local Life Magazine. See, the magazine will be out next week.
Had a new look.
Yes, it did.
I like it.
Yes, I do too. It's a lot bigger for my old eyes, and it folds out, and it's got bigger ads, and it didn't cost any more to advertise in it. It's a really good thing.
And Griffin was in it last month.
Were you?
Yeah.
How is that?
For his graduation announcement.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what this is.
It's a local advertising
These are
magazine.
things your parents do for you.
Yeah, it's an advertising magazine, and it goes to 30,000 homes. So you're
Yeah. You know how parents are. They like to brag on their kids.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised about that, but have I seen it at all?
I'm not sure. It's at home. I'll show it.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
it sounds very
interesting. It's about you. It's about her. It's something for her scrapbook. And you graduate great, but it's about her. I saw the postings on Facebook, and I could almost see the tears. But
That's true.
so Local Life Magazine. I hope to have her on in a couple of weeks. We like to get her on about every 5 or 6 weeks because she can tell us what's going on in the community. Alrighty, and a couple of nonprofit or a couple of public service announcements. Have you seen this yet? The Caring Physicians Network it's the
You
Burleson
sent it
Medical
to
Clinic.
me.
Yeah. I guess I sent it to all of y'all because I want you to know what your sponsorship is promoting.
Love
It's
it.
not just business, which is all, of course, a good thing, but also these kind of things. It's on the corner of on Haskew, on the corner of the Baptist Church parking lot, the northeast corner. It used to be the Promises building, and now when they moved to Renfro, that building for a little while served as like a storage facility, and now they got 3 clinic rooms, examination rooms, the whole thing. And I stress this is not Medicaid; it's for working people that don't have insurance.
Right.
And if you need to have a doctor, you need to call. It's not a drop-in clinic because you don't know what doctor is going to be available what day.
Right.
So they try to have it organized, like obstetrician on one day and pediatrician another day, and make a routine.
Oh, okay. Got that. Awesome.
All right. Also, the voting tomorrow will be the finally the runoff. The thing about the runoffs, I don't have a problem with runoffs, but this started in March 2nd was the original one, and now 3+ months later.
Now we've forgotten all the things.
Well, I've had Andy and Nolan and his wife on, and I had Chris Boddicker on. I voted early last week for both of them, so that's kind of where I'm at now. But now early voting's over, so you need to go to Cana Baptist if you live in 7, 11, or 41 precincts. Or if you live in 8, 10, 35, 42, or 43, you go to the Precinct 3 maintenance facility, which is on 10420 East FM 917. Okay, so it's on 917. So I've been endorsing Andy because he's not only a neighbor of mine, but he's a quality person.
He's been standing out on Hidden Creek every morning.
That's right. I mean, he's worked hard. I can tell you that. He and Cindy both. And I'm sure his opponent's a fine man, but Andy has really pushed him out there. I mean, he's really campaigned like he means business.
Yeah.
Same with Chris Boddicker. I had him on the show about 3 weeks ago, and
what does it remind me what he's running for?
County judge.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have a new county judge for the first time since I've lived here.
Oh, wow.
Ron Harmon's retiring.
Yes, I did know Ron Harmon was retiring.
His opponent, Boddicker's opponent, also is named
Harmon.
Yeah, but it's not related.
No.
And I think he's riding on that coattail, but I think Boddicker's going to win because he's got a lot of support and he's worked hard at it too, So that tells me a lot.
Good.
It really does. Now, where were we?
Okay, we do need to talk about rates.
Okay, let's talk about interest rates. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so currently, and these are just estimates, right? Mm-hmm. Credit score makes a big difference. There's a lot of things that go into interest rates for mortgages, but on average, the average conventional 30-year is 5.48 right now. FHA is 4.7. VA is 4.73, and a jumbo is 5.45. Now, some of those will go up into the 6s depending on your credit score and other financial things that are happening.
Also, the Fed is supposed to act this week again, right?
Yes, the Fed is supposed to act. So let's talk about that Fed rate. So the Fed rate right now runs between 0.75 and 1. That's the base rate. In 2018, the base rate was running between 2 and 2.25. So we have, and rates were still fairly low then, but I'm just saying, we've got a lot of room that we've got to make up for. They're running bare bones right now. And then obviously, as an economics teacher, you could educate us all on exactly what the Fed does to increase the interest rates. They're going to be selling.
Right.
Yeah.
And the mechanics of it, honestly, when I was teaching that in high school, was one of the most difficult concepts to teach, because when we talk about selling and buying bonds and all this other business, in the kids' minds, they're thinking currency.
Right.
And no, that's not what I'm talking about when we talk about expanding the money supply.
Right.
And I would say that was, of all the concepts that I teach in economics, that and maybe the idea of aggregate demand or whatever, those things did hit the kids right in the middle of the forehead. And I had to explain to them, no, we're not talking about just revenue at the printing press.
Right.
But they could understand the impact, if not the mechanics. They understood more money, lower rates, less money, higher rates kind of thing.
Right.
But that is a difficult concept. And most people have really little idea what the Fed does.
Right.
And
Well, let me explain. I know we're not going to get into Biden, Trump, all that stuff, but the Fed has more control over interest rates than President Biden does.
well, exactly right.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I sometimes I get really frustrated on social media, and I know you don't like who you don't like. Fine, I don't care.
Right.
I really don't. But like, if we're going to have intelligent conversations, let's know what everybody does.
My problem with the Fed was they acted too late. Rex and I talked about this. It wasn't so much that we're blaming Biden for the interest rates, because I remember when I was in first year in college back in early 80s, the inflation
Well, let's
rate
talk
was,
about that. I had the interest rates for the early 80s. 1981 was 16.63 for a mortgage.
Right. And everybody was mad at Reagan, but Reagan had nothing to do with that. It was Paul Volcker, the chairman of the Fed. And, and Reagan say, hey, how about, easing up a bit? And Volcker would say, nope, and puff on his cigar.
Right.
And so, my enthusiasm for Mr. Biden is somewhat limited, but I don't blame him specifically because for him, it'd be better to have low interest rates.
Right.
Politically.
Yes.
But that's not what's going to happen.
No, and it's they have to raise it. So essentially what's happening is the Fed is trying to strategically, as you said, they started too late. Now they're trying to strategically raise it at a process that doesn't send us into a recession. And that's a really hard balancing act.
It's going to be very difficult. In fact, Thursday on my Zoom show, I'm going to talk about the possibility of a recession. Just from what I've seen, read, experienced, one of the values being the old coot that I am, I've been through these things before.
Yeah, and it's cyclical, and we'll come back out of it,
Right.
and it's, it's not pleasant.
It is. Nothing is painless in this world, and that's all there is to it.
But honestly, I don't think that American people really understand that in order to calm down inflation, we need to stop spending.
Yeah.
Like, you need to start saving. Inflation's actually really good for savers.
Yes, it is.
So if you are really starting to worry about, get a high yield savings account. And Rex can tell you all these things, but your savers are going to be making money during inflation.
It's a good time to pay off debts.
It is.
And that's what Mrs. Allard and I have been concentrating on the last year. And if we got about another year to go, we're going to get it down to a situation where our mortgages are only monthly debt payment.
Yeah.
And we, things like that. And we keep our credit cards at zero at the end of the month.
Yes.
And that kind of thing. And I like to brag about myself, but it was a hard-earned lesson. I could tell you, even.
Haven't we all learned those lessons?
Yeah, but it's,
the hard way
even,
sometimes?
people say, well, you must know all about how to handle your business. You're an economics teacher.
Right.
But
life still happens.
Yeah, life happens. And, sometimes you make bad choices, or sometimes bad choices are forced on you.
Right.
You can't always decide when your air conditioner is going to go out.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can learn from the people who have made mistakes, so I don't have to.
Like your parents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea. A good attitude, young man, because a lot of young people think, oh, I'm going to do it better than my family did, my folks did. And they'll find out, gosh, my old man wasn't as dumb as I thought he was.
I'm too anxious to go think like that.
Well, good. Well, did your school teach y'all anything about personal finance?
We did have a finance class this previous year, and we did go over personal finance.
Good.
I just can't name it off the top
Oh,
of my
well,
head.
sure, but
until it's used in practice, in practice.
Experience will teach you a lot. It'll teach you a lot more about running everything. My advice, I'm sure Rex would agree, is keep the high interest rate debts as low as possible, like credit cards.
Agree.
Well,
and those are the debts that really are affected by the Fed rate more than any other. The credit cards they're going to be astronomical as that continues to raise.
Yeah, and so that's my little piece of advice. Most of these debts that my wife and I are dealing are fixed. And so it just a matter of, we just want to get out from under the payments and whatnot, like car payments and whatnot. And it's worked out pretty well for us. But it's, again, we make these plans and then God says, oh, that's funny. But anyway, as far as the rates, as it affected the prices, though, what I saw I read something in Atlantic about how the market's starting to cool off, but it's not it's the prices are cooling off, but the monthly payments are still rising because what you may have saved, so to speak, in the original purchase price, you're getting more than hit on the higher interest rates.
Yeah, I don't. The interest rates at this moment are not so astronomically high as compared that it's going to make a huge difference on prices. But I will say that I can see we're going to start kind of leveling, where you're not going to be seeing this $15,000 average price raise in a month.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
No, it isn't. And it excludes, 75-80% of the American public from buying a home, basically?
So what it'll do is we'll just start seeing those, instead of raising like 2% per month, we may see 2% per quarter, which is still great. That's still a very healthy market.
What I read in The Atlantic was that we're not going to be heading towards another 2008 burst of the bubble like we did before.
No, because those loans were terrible loans.
And I was dealing with Countrywide at the time, so I knew what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But what this author in the article said, that basically if people are expecting this home to be like this cash cow kind of thing, ain't going to happen that way anymore. That you'll, like I said, they'll still get increased value, but a lot of people who paid maybe $50,000 more for a home, it's going to be a little while before that $50,000 is made up again.
So this is a conversation I have with clients a lot, is that you have to have an exit strategy for a house. So like if you love a home and you are willing to pay $100,000 over asking, you still have to crunch the numbers and figure out what your break-even point is based on the average numbers. And just know that the more you pay for a house, the longer you have to stay there.
Right.
Because over the past probably 7-8 years, we're looking at 2 to 5 years. People are only staying in houses 2 to 5 years.
That's crazy to me.
It's crazy.
Just the moving part
now you
of
might have to stay there 10, and that's that American idea of like, oh, bigger, better, bigger, better. It's like Monopoly. We're just trading up all the time.
I like a little cozy house. That's my plan.
Yeah,
well, that's a good plan to have too.
We're gonna see where I think we kind of go back to where like my grandparents were, and like you buy a house and you're content with it, and you do what you're doing, and you just better the house that you live in.
Right.
And that's not bad.
I like my house, and there's some things I'll change, get rid of that carpet for one thing, but that kind of thing. But as far as moving, every 2 to 5 years, I can't imagine packing up all my junk that often.
Yeah.
I got books, I got stuff. Robin's got knickknacks. It's not the big furniture that bugged me. It's trying to move all the small stuff.
Yeah.
Kitchen gear, whatnot. And they do that 2 to 5 years. No, thank you.
Well, and people need to realize you can use a house as an avenue and still stay in it. Like you don't have to constantly. Now, there was a time in Texas we did not do HELOCs.
Right. Well,
there were no
explain what that
HELOCs.
is.
So a HELOC is basically it's a cash out. You're getting cash out. It's a line of credit on your house.
I see. HELOC sounds something from like the Time Machine, H.G. Wells. But those are Morlocks.
It wasn't until I want to say it was the early 2000s that we were able to do those, and second mortgages. And we just literally, there was nothing in Texas that allowed for.
Well, that's how I helped pay for my kids' college, is refinancing a couple of times. And then I mentioned before, when I left my previous teaching job, I hadn't started DBU yet. And I thought, well, I want to have some money just in case it takes me a while to hook up with another institution. And right in the middle of the process, DBU picked me up, so it was a good thing. But then my air conditioner went out next month, and I had the cash to take care of it. Yeah. And
when you're talking about spreading $10,000 over 30 years, that's very little on your payment.
They used to have a line of credit based on that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And you can still do those. Those have higher interest rates.
Right.
So when you're doing a cash out or a HELOC, just know your interest rate is going to be higher.
Right. And so.
But it's still fixed.
Yeah. Mine right now is like 4.3.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, it is now, but back, it was a cash out.
It's still not bad.
We didn't cash it totally, but it was just enough. But if I just did a straight refinancing, it'd be like at the time like 3.9 or something like that. But I did it because I needed the cash. And
well, the difference between 3.9 and 4.3 is very little.
We did the math. It was like $70.
Yeah.
And I wanted the money. I wanted the liquidity, and there you go. Well, running on time, I want to hear about your big week last week. Griffin, tell us all about it.
So, weirdly enough, it wasn't as stressful as I thought it would be.
Wait, audience doesn't know what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I graduated last week.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're very fond of the school he went to. He went to Hill School,
He went to the Hill School. Yes.
And you really were praising it on Facebook about how they did so well. And
They did for Griffin. I felt like it was a good spot for him. I don't know that it's the best fit for everybody, but it fit what he needed, and he gained a lot of good friends. And
Well, what are your plans now?
Well, I'm applying for some jobs, and I'm hoping to go to college in the fall.
Hill College, you know what we were talking about?
Yes.
All right. Let's hope you're in my class.
he actually was awarded the Burleson Opportunity Fund for Hill.
Well, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good because I really like that opportunity fund. I can't even count how many students I've had in my classes that are on the BOF, and it was one of the best things our former mayor ever put together. Was the opportunity fund, and it's. I tell people that are outside the system about this, and like, my gosh, I wish we had this for our school system.
Yeah. Well, and the great thing is Griffin did not go to Burleson, but we pay Burleson school taxes. So he qualifies. So that's the main thing. So if you have a kid in private school, but they're looking toward Hill, you can qualify as long as you pay your Burleson school taxes.
I haven't had so much private school, but a lot of homeschool students.
Homeschool as well.
That's where, if they didn't go to BH or BISD schools, they were homeschooled. But as far as like private schools, Burleson really, as far as private schools, Holy Cross
is Nazarene, but it's really Crowley, Fort Worth-ish.
Right.
There's a lot of Burleson kids that go there.
Yeah, and so it's a great thing. And so what do you want to major in? Do you have any idea yet?
Either business or finance, just as a general degree, because either one of those you're going to use eventually down the road.
Well,
or more often down the road.
Well, my original Baylor degree is in finance. I wanted to be a banker, and here I am.
Sure.
Well, I worked in the industry, so to speak, not as a banker, but as a credit analyst for Dun & Bradstreet. And after a couple of years of that, I said, no.
You get burnt out.
Well, the job had its good and its bad points, but it just felt like there was something I'd rather be doing. And it just kind of come to me that I want to be a school teacher. And that worked. I haven't regretted that decision since.
Well, you were a great one.
Thank you.
And you still are.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting tired and old. But anyway, so you're going to be at Hill, I hope. And then after that, you talking about Wesleyan maybe?
I'm not really sure. I'm just going to see what fits.
Well, with your aptitude with technology, keeps that as a minor at least, because everything needs technology. I mean, even in the education business, I was constantly having to adapt to technology. And it was really hard and painful. And Taylor will tell you how slow I am in adapting to technology.
You have issues putting on those headphones.
Yes, I know. It really is. For me, it's like, how do you turn this on? And that kind of stuff. But that'd be great, But he gave a speech and everything at Hill.
He didn't have to give a speech.
Oh, you didn't have to.
No, his friend Colin did.
Oh, okay. His friend did. Okay, I thought.
I have such stage fright.
Well, you're doing okay here, see?
Oh, it's not like 100 people in front of me just staring at me. It's just people online that I don't have to see.
Yeah, right. Well,
so I can mentally have that block that no one's really hearing me. I'm just having a conversation.
There you go. Most people access this show on Apple and Spotify later, like when they're driving around or in the background or something like that. As far as like watching it as it happens, it's on YouTube. If they don't boot me off again. Did you hear about that?
I did see that.
That really bugged me. I asked my son, I said, why would they boot me off? Because it wasn't a controversial topic, I thought. I mean,
YouTube's just its stuff is terrible with like why you get kicked off and like
He said it may have been age inappropriate. I'm talking about the Roe versus Wade and its impact. I was not really talking about a pro-life versus pro-choice debate because most people aren't going to change their mind. It was really like, this is what the impact of that ruling did then and what the potential ruling is going to do now to our politics is more the impact of it as opposed to like the content of the rule, even though I made it pretty clear as pro-life, but it doesn't really, that wasn't the gist of the show. and I got booted. And I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't make any sense because I could.
But I think they just pick and choose. It's kind of
It's also they're trying to play to their
audience.
Their not their audience, but like the people that they get advertising money from.
Well,
And if they don't like it, or like if somebody
reported you,
somebody
basically.
reported it, they sometimes don't even look at the video.
I just, it really bothered me because, again, I wasn't being inflammatory. I wasn't calling names. I wasn't accusing the other side of the debate of, bad faith or anything. It was just the politics. Now, and I thought, okay, this doesn't make sense. If I want to watch some tart with 98% unclothed with their latest bikini shoot, I could subscribe to her channel.
Right.
But I can't even talk about politics like that. And I wasn't yelling about Biden like I normally do, but there you go. But anyway, let's talk about this other thing here. The Imagine here, the fundraiser for Re-Inspire. Tell us about that.
Yes. So we're doing a specific fundraiser. So here's the thing about fundraisers. They cost a lot of money.
Yes, they do.
And we are opening a resource center in Cleburne that is an actual physical building. St. Mark, we're renting 2 rooms from St. Mark Methodist.
Right. It's on the main drag.
It's on the main drag right by the football field.
The Rock. I mean, we had
Rock.
Charisse about 10 days ago. Is that right? I don't know how long. It wasn't very long ago, but we had Charisse on.
So that's going to
right.
do a lot of things. A lot of these kids don't have places to go that are safe as far as during the day. They're hanging out with people they don't need to be hanging out with. It'll have, we're designing a lounge that I'm designing. I'll send you all pictures. And one of it is going to be a lounge where they can come hang out, read books, watch TV, play the PlayStation. The other is a business center. We'll do classes. They can come there for tutoring. We will help them with schoolwork. It's going to have computers and, we'll have more formal things there. And I'm designing that too.
Well, it's designed for a specific group of kids.
Yes. These are kids who are at risk. They're either in the system, about to age out of the system, or they have like circumstances where maybe they just don't have great home lives or a lot of support.
When Charisse was on, one of my more faithful listeners, Sherry Scott, who used to work for CASA, I guess they talk about how you need to catch them at the younger ages. If you wait until they're 18 and they're out of high school, it's a lot harder adjustment. If you catch them as they're approaching this
and we're trying to catch them at 12.
Right.
And then obviously we have a lot that are coming in that are 18. And we go from 12 to 23. And so it's like we're trying to catch early so they can have that foundation early and all those things can be taught. But realistically, a lot of them we're basically catching in the net of like, wait, you're not ready. Let's help you kind of thing. So.
Well, how did you get involved with this? You came across it and you really felt compelled to be involved with it?
Barbara Tatum connected Charisse and I. We're both former students. And she actually connected for real estate because Charisse was moving here and she needed an agent. So she called me for real estate. And then I kept asking her questions like, what is this that you're doing? And Charisse has been in the nonprofit side of things, government and otherwise, for her whole life, basically. She's done grant writing and all of those things. But and she started kind of explaining to me what Re-Inspire was. And I was like, well, yes.
Yeah.
And she thought, I kept asking her questions like, well, can we meet for lunch? Like, I want to ask you. She's like, well, I can't buy any more houses. And I'm like, no, I don't care if you buy any more houses. I want to know more about this Re-Inspire. So then eventually, like, she realized, oh, she's serious. Like, she really does want to help.
So you're like president of the board, right?
I'm the president of the board.
Okay. And if they want to donate to this eventless fundraiser, which is great, it's wearereinspire.org.
Yes. So you can donate straight through the website, wearereinspire.org. And all the money is going to the resource center.
Right.
All of our programs, all of our decorating, we try to do everything on a budget, but it still costs money. Everything costs money.
Sure it does.
And so there's also, if you donate $40, you get in for a prize package. And I believe the prize package is on the
Speaking
website.
of prize packages.
Oh, yes.
Some of our friends said we want to contribute.
Yay.
This is from Hotworks,
Oh,
Michelle
nice.
Humphrey. Oops, sorry.
Yay.
a cool ice shaker, cooler, tumbler.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
That's cool.
This is from Gayla.
Oh.
It's a ring a young lady would wear.
That is so awesome. Can I take it out?
Yeah, sure. Even if the winner is a man, I'm sure he has a young daughter, niece, whatever.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yes, and it's
okay. So now we have more prizes.
And Chris at Wild Cigar says,
"Oh yes, oh I did email him, so I'm glad he. Good, awesome."
And that's a gift card from Wild Cigar. And so when Sharice was on, I thought, there's some other people might want to join this. And I talked to our friends. It's like a family of sponsors. And they said, you bet.
Yeah. So we'll add these to the gift. So you just donate $40, you guys, and you get into the drawing. And we're going to draw, I believe it's June 1st.
Well, and then I know Otto has put something in already. And there's other things probably from other connections y'all have made. So
yes, there's a lot of local businesses. So I know there's a whole list. Cleburne, Burleson, there's all kinds. The whole idea is that we want to support local businesses. We want people to come in and spend money, but we want to get your name out there too.
What I was just was touched by, because they're like, oh, absolutely, and
that's so awesome.
Yeah, and that's Burleson. I mean, one of the values of doing this show is I've become much more aware of all the stuff that goes on in this town. That's good. We might have a handful that want to dominate the conversation on Facebook, and
there's a lot of people doing good.
Yeah, but they're vastly outnumbered by people who are really doing these kind of good things, such as yourself. I mean, this is not a paid position, so
no, but I love it.
I know.
And there's a big Sharice. I hope she won't be mad at me.
Okay.
We have been awarded some money. I won't say how much. I'll let Sharice do that. But for our housing program, which has been the core of what we need. So just so you know, when kids age out of the system, they literally have nowhere to go. A lot of them, it's like their foster parents or parents in general are like, okay, you're 18, bye. And they are couch surfing. They are sometimes living in hotels. We've had some of them almost be trafficked. It's terrible.
That's not good.
And so Reinspire, our main issue has been like, we have got to have a housing program. We have to have something that is for emergency use. Like you have to have it immediately. And then we want to teach these kids how to take care of themselves as well. So they will pay rent in a housing program, and we're going to build a building that has apartments in it, and they're supervised and they create community, and then they also learn how to save money and pay rent and do all the things that adults should learn how to do.
Right. Sharice was talking about how some of the skills that you and I would take for granted, like ordering a meal at a restaurant.
Right.
A lot of these kids don't know how to do that.
No. Or a lot of them don't have Social Security cards. They don't have driver's license.
That's a big one.
They don't know where their birth certificate is. They don't have. You also have to have an address to apply for a job. If you don't have a permanent address, you cannot apply for a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I would advise the vast listening audience, if you're interested in this, the show is on Apple and Spotify, and hopefully YouTube hadn't taken that one down. So. You think they'll take this one down because I've been criticizing them?
Probably.
Yeah, well, like I said, most people do it on Apple and Spotify.
As long as nobody snitches.
Snitches, okay. Well, there you go.
Snitches get stitches.
Well, I'm going to run through the ads real quick, and they end up in ditches. And so
you took it to another level.
Yeah, all right. But, I'm really mad. And so, but anyway, we're going to run through the ads real quick, and then I'll give you the last word about anything we'll talk about. And you too. I mean, Griffin, you can get a couple of last words in. So be thinking while I'm doing this.
Okay.
Okay. CrossFit Burleson, thank you, Daniel, for all you do. I know he's also doing a lot of work for Eagle's Nest. I'm trying to get them hooked up, but it's hard to get Tiffany and Terry because they don't get good internet where they're at. So they can only do it when they're in the big city. And so but I'm going to have them on pretty soon.
Yeah. They do amazing work.
Yes. And I'm very, very proud of both of them because they really demonstrating Christian charity. Good. Daniel over at CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. So check out their page for the training programs, membership, etc. Also, of course, with Miss Shandy, we let her have the last word, so we'll move on.
Yep.
Rex, thank you again. With this economy doing what it's doing, we're not going to pretend that we know what he knows. So hit myfinancialbox.com and have some coffee with him.
Yeah, it's time to save, you guys.
I think so. Yeah.
I love the idea of slaving.
Yeah, well,
It's just weird.
We need to hook Rex up with Griffin.
well, sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, he'd be glad to do it. Even if it's just for a cup of coffee at our place, because that's where Rex does a lot of his Burleson business. He does a lot of Cleburne business too. So he'll come over and visit with y'all all you want.
Nice. I'll call him.
Okay, good. And also thank you to Gayla, Southern Jill. Wonderful young.
Yes,
wonderful
thank you
person.
for the donation, Gayla.
Yeah, that's very kind of her. And she was glad to do it. She's excited to do it. She likes the nonprofit shows better. She's like, well,
I feel that too. Yeah. If I could just do nonprofit for a living, I would. But I have these kids. I have
yeah,
to
no,
support.
darn, you got 2 more coming, don't you?
2 more kids. Oh, 2 more kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
Coming up, yes.
yeah, your youngest one, is she going to the 8th grade?
Oh, no, she's on the 5th grade.
Okay, I'm getting confused.
I have a long road
you should do.
ahead.
Well, but as far as the
and
middle,
if you've met her, you'll
the
understand.
middle child, my wife has
very
gotten to know her, and she thinks she's just a wonderful young lady.
Oh, thank you.
And she also tore it up in the golf match, the tournament, right?
Well, she did good.
She did well enough.
It was a
me.
great experience.
She did better than me.
Yeah. Okay. Also, thank you to Michelle over at HotWorks. Check out the various programs. There's 11 or 12 different type of programs. From aerobics to Pilates to rowing, biking. You can get 3 people in one of these rooms, and so you don't have to do it all by yourself. And it's a really good workout. And a lot of people really swear by it. Her business is really doing well, and I think it's a lot to do with how hard she works at hustling at it. She's a ball of energy, that's for sure.
And thank you, Michelle, for the donation.
Okay. Thank you to Otto.
Otto always donates.
Always donates. Yeah, I don't think.
Every time I ask, he says yes.
Oh no, I don't think there's ever been an event or whatever that he hasn't been supportive of. And of course, the food is great.
Yes.
And that really helps. I like that. And that the weather isn't so bad. Sitting on the patio is a nice way to spend your lunch. So thank you to Otto at our place. Also, thank you to Chris over at Wild Cigar.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Yeah. He likes doing these things too. He wants to be part of the community, and his bar is steadily climbing.
It is really cool. You guys need to go check it out.
Yeah, it really is, and it's not like some dive with a bunch of clouds of smoke. It's very well ventilated. It's it has that aroma of cigars, but you're not going to come out choking and coughing or anything. Because I've
So
had
go
people,
eat at American Reverie,
right,
and then just head on over to Wild and have a little nightcap and a cigar.
right, and it's a class
And women
joint.
can smoke cigars.
Yeah. And I've seen it. I've been there before and seen gals. It wasn't like some big old honking cigar. It was like a little,
Yeah, they have small ones.
smaller ones, and they got the whole thing. But it's a great place. And also thank you to Antonio, Proactive Payment Solutions. Hit proactivepaymentsolution.com and help you with your business operations, your point of sale operations, the whole 9 yards. He had explained to me what this was. I was like, what? That's more the technology thing.
Yeah.
But it's with so many businesses doing mostly online, you need something like that.
Now just find me a plumber and we'll be great.
All right, an electrician as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I bet if you use that proactivepaymentsolution.com website and said, hey, I need an electrician, he'll be right there with you.
Yeah.
Also, thank you to Tiffany over at Local Life. Magazine will be out in about a week.
And if you want to know anything going on in Burleson, she knows.
I call her the queen of Burleson,
Yes.
Burleson's homecoming queen or something like that. And she gets all embarrassed and whatever else. And her daughter's graduating too.
Yes.
And so it's a big deal. And all these pictures on Facebook and whatnot, Like I remember when my mom and dad, when I graduated high school, was like, well, okay, you should have.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't like
What
to-
are you doing now?
Yeah, really. It's like, oh, big deal. You graduated high school.
Right.
And I said, well, my friend's getting all these presents and new cars and all these other stuff. And he said, great, you get to have a meal. Sit down, shut up. And so.
Griffin is getting a pretty good present. He'll
What
have
is
to tell
that?
you about it.
Okay, in a minute. Tell us all about it.
Oh, that. Okay.
Okay, well, you go first. Tell us about it.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I'm done. I'm done with the ads. So it's your turn.
Oh, it is the trip, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to England in April.
Really?
No.
In August.
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 Sorry. both
London,
spelled the
I
same.
assume?
We're going to London and Scotland.
Oh, God, I love Scotland.
We're going to the Islay Islands.
Oh,
to
I could have a whole show just on what your trip is.
do all the Scotch distilleries.
My wife and I did our honeymoon back in 1988. Our anniversary, by the way, is this Saturday. Yeah, so I haven't forgotten Robin.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I made it. Boy. But we went to London for our honeymoon, and I've been to Scotland twice, but it's been a long time. You're going to love Scotland. It is so nice.
And then we have some friends in the countryside that we're going to stay with them for a few days in England. Yeah. So we're 10 days.
You're going to have a great time. You really are.
We don't buy cars, we take trips. That's what we...
Well, that's a good thing. You know, but
my car works perfectly fine, and I don't have to pay for anything.
And
gas.
See, look at that. See where you go. Well, neither is Taylor. He's the Elon Musk Jr. of the show.
Oh yeah, he's got a Tesla.
Yeah.
You and Taylor need to chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like Teslas, but they're just really expensive.
Well, we'll see how much it costs after a while. We'll see. But anyway,
right now they're expensive.
Okay.
Well, but no, you're going to love Scotland. The people are not real flamboyant or outgoing, but they're very nice. And
That's right up his alley.
yeah,
He doesn't really do flamboyant.
No, they're going to be they're somewhat contained, if you will, but they're good, nice people, and it was a great trip. I'd love to go back, but it's been a while. Okay, and how about you, Shandy? Tell us all about it.
Well, I just would say don't get discouraged. The interest rates are not that high. And if you are thinking about buying or selling, obviously give me a call. I'm not high pressure. We'll talk it through, figure out if it's the best course of action for you or not.
Well, how would they get a hold of you?
They can call me on my cell phone, 817-899-5951.
Okay.
Or
And-
you can text me. I do text too.
Yeah, text. And
She prefers texts.
well, I do too, actually. I don't like answering the phone. But anyway, tomorrow we're going to have our friend Camille back on.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and also a young lady named Mandy Harden that does creative concepts. I'm going to talk about running a business. I like talking to business owners about how they handle all this flux in business and
Yes.
how they got started and what they did. And it's a member of a networking group. And then Thursday, I'm going to be ranting and raving. And then Taylor's going to take a week off. And so
Heyo.
he's going to Tennessee. And so
Oh, enjoy Nashville.
Pitcher Forge, Gatlinburg.
Oh, have fun.
Yeah, so we're going to go
Beautiful state.
maybe have a limited couple of taped ones maybe, but we're going to have a limited exposure, so to speak, next week. So you want to take the week off. All right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for
Thank
coming
you
by.
for having us.
Sure. I hope you all do well.
Thanks for letting me come on.
Sure, no problem. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay.